This is the Unit 7 Reteach video here. I want to first talk about just graphing. And you can see that I have the three different forms here: slope intercept, point slope, and standard form. And I want to get to the graphs on all three of these. Let's start with the slope intercept form. Okay, with the slope and the intercept will be present in the formula. Okay, we are talking about the y-intercept here. And as you look down to the equation I gave you, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3, you can see that here, that the starting point, or the y-intercept, is 3. So as you go down to your graph, you'll find that spot on the y-axis, and you'll put a point. Then you'll notice that your slope here is negative 1/2. Okay, remember, with negative 1/2, just either make the numerator or the denominator negative. Remember, from a default position is just always to make the top negative. But don't make them both negative, because that would change the fraction to a positive. Okay, so what this is going to tell me to do, from my starting point of 3, I'm going to go down 1, right 2. Okay, so from 3, down 1, right 2, and I begin to generate other points on the graph. Take a straight edge, and graph the rest of the line. Okay. Let's talk about the middle there, point slope. Point slope is going to give you a point and a slope. Okay, so here, I'll write my point. And over here, I'll write my slope. Okay. Well, the x1 is going to be here in the formula. And as you put that value into your order pair, remember that that value is going to be opposite. So if it's a positive 4 in the formula, it's a negative 4 in your order pair. Okay. Over here is your y1. Okay. Well, it's a negative 3 in the formula. When you put it in your order pair, it's going to be a positive 3 because the sign's going to change. Okay. Then you take your slope. The slope is 2/3. So that's going to tell me to go up 2 and then right 3. Okay, so first let's plot that point. Negative 4, 3 is here. Then my slope of 2/3 tells me to go up 2, right 3, so I'll do that. Okay. They're the only 2 points I can really put on the grid. So I'll go ahead and do my best to graph here. There we go. Okay, last, standard form. All right, standard form, we got several different options here. Let's just talk about 2. The most popular here are either intercepts or solving for y. And I'll show you both, and then you can decide which one you prefer. Okay, with intercepts, this basically means we're going to use the cover-up method. And if you want to find your x-intercept, you just go over to the equation, and you make the y equal to 0. And when you do that, it basically wipes out or covers up that term. What you're left with is 3x equals 12. Well, that means that x has to equal 4. So you can go to your grid on the x-axis, and there is your x-intercept. Okay? Let's talk about the y-intercept. The y-intercept, in order to be on the y-axis, your x value has to be 0. So that means if you plug in a 0 for x, that value gets covered up. Okay, and what you're left with is negative 2y equals 12. Well, when you divide that negative 2 away, you get negative 6. So now I go to your y-axis, go down to negative 6, and there's your dot. Now, if that's the method you chose, you could draw your line and be done. But I want to show you that after we solve for y, that these are one and the same. Okay, so let's say we decide to solve for y. In order to do that, we want to get that y by itself. So I'll begin removing all the things on the same side as y. Here we have a positive 3x. I'm going to subtract away that first. If it was a negative, I would have added it. Okay. Those x's cancel out. We have a negative 2y left over. And on the right side, notice that the 12 does not have an x, but the negative 3 does. So these are going to remain separate terms. So I can write this as negative 3x plus 12, or I could have written that as 12 minus 3x. Either one will do. To get rid of the negative 2, I'll divide it away. And you can see over here on the right side, we're going to end up with 2 fractions. The first fraction is negative 3x over negative 2. So as you look at those two numbers, negative divided by a negative, you're going to get a positive. And the fraction 3 over 2 cannot be reduced, so I'm going to leave it as is. So 3/2 x. On the second fraction, you have positive 12 and negative 2. So positive divided by a negative, that's a minus. 12 divided by 2 is 6. We end up with the equation y equals 3/2 x minus 6. Now notice, as you come down here, that's telling you, from our first example, to start at negative 6. So down here. And then the slope 3/2 is telling you to go up 3 right 2. So there's your dot there. And you can keep on doing that pattern. Now notice, as I made those dots, I covered up the blue and the red dot. In other words, this is going to give me the same line that the intercepts would. Okay, take a straight edge. Like it so. All right. These three examples should help you here with problems 1 through 3. The middle one should help you with problems 7 through 9. And the last one should help you with the problems 13 through 15. Give those a shot, and then watch the other parts of the videos to help you with the rest.